One day, I was looking at all the water bottles I was about to recycle, and it occurred to me that these look like my 3D printer filament. And then I thought to myself, I wonder if I could figure out a way to turn these water bottles into 3D printer filament and repurpose it to print whatever I want. So I bought some parts and I built this machine. But I'm not an electrician or an engineer, so it wasn't the safest machine ever built. The wires weren't soldered, they were messy and flying everywhere on the bottom, and it occurred to me that this could in fact become a fire hazard really soon. And don't get me wrong, my machine worked at first. I even successfully turned a few water bottles into filament and printed with it. But then my machine somehow went from this to this. I was fiddling with it too much and replacing things that I had no business replacing, and it was in that moment that I realized I really needed to fix this machine and make it safer, sturdier, and more secure so that we could really get this process of turning water bottles into filament and printing for real with it right. And luckily, I had just the right person to help. So I went over to the STEAM project and recruited Nikki to help me. Nikki asked me what the main thing I wanted to tackle first was.
What is the main thing you want to tackle first?
We need to fix this very ratchet design so that it's more secure. Our pulley, it's a little bit large and making everything more secure. Yeah. I'll leave it to you, Nikki.
Well, the main things we needed to fix were the design on the front, the broken pulley system, and the messy fire hazard wires on the bottom of the board. That metal piece on the front really needed fixing, plus the pulley was too large for the actual motor, so it wouldn't function properly and pull the filament around in circles. And so immediately we got to work. We started with the hot end and began removing the old metal hardware. We added a new nozzle since the old one was clogged with filament, and we found a more sturdy piece of metal for the front. Once we secured it to the board, we went over to Nikki's office and started printing new parts for the pulley system. And by the way, this is a perfect tutorial video showing you how to wire this board properly if you want to build your own machine at home. So I've linked all the parts in the bio below, and you can find them in my Amazon shop.
That already looks so much better. Do you think we need to get anything printed for this?
Probably.
But anywho, Nikki's office was filled with an array of 3D printers that they use for their summer camp. So the kids there get to build things with materials they print themselves, like remote-controlled cars. How nice it would be to be a kid again. But I felt lucky to be welcomed in here and use some of their machines myself. I have a Prusa MK4S, so it was nice to get some tips, and Nikki sure was knowledgeable. It was cool to see they keep all their failed print scraps together, and for our next idea, we were thinking of building some machine together to repurpose those scraps to reprint with them. But anywho, once we got the pieces printing for the pulley system, we were ready to rewire the